morning, everyone. It's Joe Semprini with Artist Heart, SempriniArt.com, artworks.com. This painting is called Equinox-Dreamscape. The kind of a combination. I was watching TV, or actually on Netflix, and the Pablo Picasso painting was in the background. And I was just starting this painting, and there was a moon just like that, which I said, well, that's really interesting. So I did that kind of spatial night. The equinox is September 22nd, and that's when I finished this or was doing this. So an equinox is, there's two of them per year, where the sun and the moon, the sun setting and the moon is rising, and the stars are bright and whatever. So that's kind of the concept on that equinox. And it has a lot of stars. I used glitter glue, so up close you could see them. They're all sparkling, different colors, and the moon and the sun have a little around the circumference glitter glue, gold and orange. And then one side of the painting, there's kind of a cliff, if you will, where you have gold, brown, green grass. And then the center is the ocean, several different colors in the center. So it's a beachy kind of night scene, if you will. And then the left side is kind of modern. Could be an ocean liner or something with coming in the port, or on the opposite side where it's a dreamscape. It's not just picturesque as far as the sun and the moon. There's some, I'm always into being contemporary or modern, and it may or may not fit to certain people, but that's kind of it. It could be an ocean liner or beach umbrellas or whatever on the opposite side. So it's kind of multicolored. It pops. It's got some nice, I can even glitter glue on the other side. It's gold, orange and red, and the little portholes, if you will, on the side of the ship. If that's, kind of was in my mind. Because when I dream a lot of art, and it's kind of all mixed up, but kind of somewhat goes together. So that's kind of the theory, or the behind the scenes thought pattern. And then I listen to a lot of jazz while I'm doing these. So it changes a little as you start, depends on what side of the painting you're working on. You come up with an idea in the middle of the painting, which, may or may not work, but, it kind of goes together, as far as my brain anyway, and how I envision it. Well, it changed somewhat from when I was doing it, because I did put a couple of colors down, which didn't look good at all. And you have, underneath, you have a primer, and sometimes the colors don't fill in very well over the primer. The lighter colors, like the aqua there on the left side or whatever, covers everything. I mean, it's funny. And then you'll take a darker color thinking it will cover more, and it doesn't. And so the base shines through. So you have to do 3-4 coats of paint, which happened on this. And and then you make a few mistakes here and there. Once the color's down, you can't really say, okay, it's not like the digital paintings. I covered that in another podcast, where the digital ones, you could erase the whole thing. You could erase the moon and whatever. There's a little in the center, a little asteroid, or in the far off galaxy, if you will, a little squiggly, which if we do a close-up, you'll be able to see it. And that's about it for that.
What medium is this in? What is it on? That kind of
stuff. There's latex, acrylics, glitter glue, and no enamels on this one. So there's it's just mainly latex and acrylics on canvas. Underneath is latex too, as far as a primer. And that was about it. So I didn't nuke this one out and put all kinds of enamels and squigglies and stuff. So yeah, but a lot of brush work. You know, it's very labor intense, you know, to do with just the brushes. Some of my paintings I use, you know, all kinds of things to spread the paints and mix them and, you know, drop them and, you know, whatever. But this is, sometimes I use all knives, painting knives, and do the whole painting with just knives. The hurricane painting is all knives. So this one is pretty much all brush, which takes time. You know, you have to be a little more precise, you know, and try not to make your lines too scriggly. But, you know, it's a little labor intensive. It takes longer than some of the other paintings.
Tell me what happens while you're painting with regard to your mood. Do you, like, in other words, how long did it take? And do you have to walk away from it to come back?
I mean, yeah, certain things you need to dry, you know, and, you know, if you're doing another coat, you have to kind of wait for it to dry or it gets all blotchy and it doesn't, you know, so, and then you get interrupted with business calls or, you know, other people calling. I try and keep the phones off, but, you know, in case of emergency or something. You know, I do have neuropathy in my feet, so I can't stand too long. So a couple of hours and then I'm, you know, okay, let me take a break, have lunch, whatever. May come back to it maybe overnight. So it takes a few weeks, I'd say. Some paintings are less, depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But this one, you know, several hours, you know, maybe 10 hours to get it, you know, the way you want. But mainly because, like I said, you have to paint over certain colors because they don't look right until you do 2-3 coats. But some you do one coat and it's fine. You know, it's just, like I said, the lighter colors for some reason cover more. My father used to say, paint covers an acre of sin. And on any, you know, canvas, you're trying to cover something, but it may not cover until you do 2-3 coats. But most of the times, some of the paints, you only one coat and it looks fine. Then you might make a splash or something over and I got to do that over again, which happened a couple of times on this when you drop things or, you know, a speck goes flying from the glitter glue, flies all over the place once it's dry. So you get sparkles everywhere, which looks good, you know, in certain parts, but it doesn't look good on the beach, you know what I mean, or whatever. But, you know, it's hard to contain that. But
I know that while you're doing the painting, it's you in the painting. So you're in the painting, you're at the painting. What I wanted to ask you about is when you're done with the painting and you walk away, do you envision it where it's going to end up? Like, do you look at a painting and see where it is in someone's house? Do you see where it is in an office? Do you see where it is?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, this again is good for maybe a hospital, a kid's room, you know, a hotel, whatever. It's bright, it's colorful, it's not abusive. You know, people might try and figure out what it is, but I mean, there is a sun and a moon and the ocean. You should at least get that. And yeah, these would look good in any corporate setting, people's home, you know, a nice, you know, big wall with, you know, other, you know, colors might be in the carpet or in the drapes or outside, or so it would fit with their decor. I mean, it might not go in a classical home. A friend of mine collects paintings and they're all, you know, 18th century or whatever. But, you know, he's very wealthy and they're expensive. But this wouldn't, you know, I gave him a little drawing, but might go in his office, but, you know, wouldn't go with that type of decor. So, yeah, you envision it and you envision it. Paintings are, you have a concept. My sculptures, I can envision it exactly what I want to do and get it pretty close to 100% what I envision. Paintings, It's a little tougher because colors change when you put them down. You put in a shape and you go, okay, that may or may not be what I thought it would be. It looks good in your head until you put it down with other colors. So you have to be open to kind of changing it. And I am contemporary. I do like to get a little wild. And these I have to kind of back off and do what I want it to do, but it's very more meticulous as far as painting it and, you know, does it all work when you're finished? I guess I was pretty satisfied, but I'm seldom 100% satisfied with the paintings. With my sculptures, usually when I got an idea in my head, they come, I find the pieces I want, you know, you weld it together, you finish it, you paint the colors you want. You might change colors, but as far as the shape and design, I already have that either drawn or it's in my head. And it's more concrete. Sculpture's more definitive for me. Even though it's abstract, you have your shape, your design, what you want to accomplish, and then you put it together. It's like a puzzle. These, you can have the picture, an idea, dreamscape, you know, equinox, okay, it's the change in the seasons, but you want to be a little modern or, you know, I could have made it, which was, you know, another half a beach on the opposite side, but it would be too boring for me.
Well, it's interesting because this is putting my own perspective on this, but there are so many of your paintings that I look at and they have, they're very energized and they have a lot of energy. This painting, when I look at it, is more calming. It's more relaxing. Is that, am I right in that interpretation, or is that me?
No, that's exactly it. I mean, these are more meticulous. My drawings are very meticulous. They're very almost, you know, they're, you know, perfect in a sense, come more like the sculptures. And the painting again is when you put paint down, it's different. Some artists might have different, you know, but I'm growing into painting more so than the drawings. I could do 100 of them and have different designs, you know, different lines, whatever, and it comes out the way I want. It's more like the sculpture, or it could be parts of sculpture if you want to do that. Paintings are different. You know, they're more flat. It's harder to get 3 dimensions. The drawings are more 3-dimensional. Some of the paintings are 3-dimensional, like the glass paintings. You get a 3-dimensional depth perception. Painting is flat, so it's harder to get a 3-dimensional kind of effect. This one I wouldn't say is 3-dimensional. It's more flat. But you got, you know, the stars, you got the sun, the moon, which are up in the sky. You got the beach, and then the water, which people shouldn't have a hard time, you know, recognizing, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just see a bunch of colors and dots. You know, believe me, it's like people don't get the simplest thing. But I love the half a moon. In fact, the other night I'm looking out from my desk, and a moon was just like that coming up in the night. And I go, wow, that's really cool. And it was just like that, just that kind of shape, just that kind of direction. Everything was identical. So I go, well, you know, sometimes you paint stuff that, you know, either you're visionary and you saw that before, or, you know, I'm always fascinated with the moon because it has slivers. Some of my sculptures are crescent moons, and half moons are in my sculptures. They're very astral. They're very, you know, we're in the middle of space, flipping around on a planet. It's pretty wild. So that comes through in a lot of my stuff. So yes, this was not relaxing to do, but you have to be very patient, and you know, with what you're doing. You can't just go wild in the middle of it, because you want to finish the equinox, but put a little something in it that you could recognize, you know.
Yeah, I think it's very vibrant and it's very alive, but it's not full of, kinetic energy.
No, yeah, the other ones, I'm doing when I'm getting ready. I just finished the primer part. And I'm ready to get, and it took me a week to just figure out what I wanted to do. And then boom, I got what I wanted to do. And it's going to be wild. I'm every once in a while I got to let loose, and it's similar to actually one of my previous paintings, and but with a little different twist. In fact, I'll give you a prelude. My initials are going to be in the middle of it somewhere. So there's going to be a big JS in the middle of it, but in the middle of a bunch of other abstract. And how it's going to come, I got an idea again, but how it finishes is a different story. You may do too much, that's those you have to stop when you go, okay, maybe I'm doing too much. And we're going to do a little up close and personal here. Here's the moon. You can see it's got some gold glitter glue around it. Okay, then the stars are the best part of this painting, I think. There's different colors and, there's a little galaxy in the future and glitter glue. And then your sun has more orange around it. Okay, and then all these sparkly little stars. Could be planets in the I'm looking at all these new pictures that are coming in from the satellite they sent out into space, and it's unbelievable. There's a lot of different stars that are different colors at their journey of it, either exploding or, dying or what have you, and they get more red like this as they're dying, and then they're brighter when they're newer. It takes the light, years and years and years to come through. Then down here we got the ocean, little blue glitter glue at the top of the ocean, and its tides either coming in or out. But you got different colors, which you see in the tropics or whatever. Then here's the right side, which again could be an ocean liner. You got windows there, and it could be coming into the foreground. And again, you have different colors, and this could be the front of the ship, if you will. Again, these are Dreamscape. You have a nice purple glitter glue going up the side of the painting. And then here, this kind of goes with the ocean from down here. Okay, so it kind of follows through on the opposite side. And then a couple of little side portholes, if you will, in the ship. And then on this side, is a little more earthy. You got some glitter glue at the side of the ocean, then some grass, different colored grass, it's sand, gold sand, then some other grass, and then some ocean on the far side of the cliff. Okay, and this is like a big cliff coming down to the ocean, so you could be on the top of the cliff and looking at the ocean out there. It comes around the back of the cliff. And the stars are, I think, the best part of this. It's just, they're sparkly and different colors. You may not see a green star, but who knows? It could be a planet. There's a blue one, purple ones. They match the other colors in the painting: yellow, gold, white, silver. So it's a dreamscape. It's sparkly, and I look out at stars last night, and you see some that are yellow, and there could be a reddish kind of one in the distance. And so I don't have a telescope, but they could be planets. There's one planet you see here every night. It's Venus, I think, and it changes kind of different colors at different time of year. So, and then up in here, you might see little clouds and whatever, or something's with this turquoise cloud moving in to the scenery. You know, it is sunset and moonrise. So sometimes, like here, I'm very close to the beach, about a mile away, and you'll see a big giant cloud moving in at sunset, you know, and it may spoil the sunset. And then you have a silver one and a green thing up in the corner there. And that's about it. So you got a lot of different colors. It's bright. I love these colors down in here. Purple's kind of my favorite color, but you got to do about 5 coats of purple. It's very hard, but yet this other light one covers 1 coat. Reds, 2-3 coats. You know, some of these turquoises, whatever, cover perfect the first time. The dark blue, you got to do it 2-3 times. It makes no sense. You know, so you think it's going to be easy, and then you go, oh, I got to do another coat of that, another coat. And then like this light green covers terrible. You know, it's very, I was painting this and I had a tube of paint, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. Literally, it was a ghost or something. And I had to finish it with a different color up here, which is similar. But so you never know, like I have no idea what happened. It was like a full tube of paint. And I used it and I couldn't find it. And so there's weird things happen in the middle of your painting, but it kind of have to be up close to get the full effect of the stars. Because back here, you know, they look just like dots. But up close, you know, they sparkle. And you move around, you know, if you move, you get a glitter type effect. And that's kind of, you know, what I was attempting to do. There's a little glare in there, but it's from the side window. So that's about it. And the sun, you know, is the sun with the orange, you know. I love this little squiggly up here. It's like a distant asteroid planet, you know, in the future, you know, way out there in the distance. But I didn't put too much crazy stuff in here. That's about it. I love the moon too. I mean, it's the moon. But it's in a Pablo Picasso. He used to use a lot of half moons and different things in his drawings and paintings. But it was funny. I was watching Netflix, and all of a sudden there's a big calder in the background with a half a moon, and I go, "Oh wow, that's just like what I'm doing." So, you know, you don't copy it, but you go, "Well, I mean, the moon. A lot of people paint the moon." But well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our podcast, and you know, look out at the stars and the moon today. Just catch a good glimpse. We'll see you again next time, and have a good day.